It's like, I don't know if you know about harmonicas. I don't know why I'm talking about harmonicas because he does my head in, the harmonica player, and he should be here talking about himself. But if you're doing like a complicated rock song that goes from different keys, he's fucked basically, because he's got this harmonica out and he's doing that, and then it'll sound out of tune. So it's hard to do harmonica in a rock band, which is.
In fact, I never paid for this. Followed by more cheese, butter, and a third piece of bread. Put it on a George Foreman, put a baby bell on top, and skewer it. And apparently, it was pretty good. And the drummer, I believe, of the Small Faces, Kenny Jones, I thought so. He's a relative of mine.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's my granddad's cousin. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 62 of the UNCNTRD podcast. I'm Riley, and this is my co-host Tom, and we have a guest once more today.
Woo. Hello, it's me.
Yes, we
Hello.
do. We are joined by Adam from The Bad Day. How are you doing today, Adam?
I'm very well. Thank you very much. An absolute pleasure to be here. Thank you very much for having me on. You're
Pleasure to have you. Yeah, how are you doing this fine mellow afternoon?
So,
I'm all right. Yeah, not so bad. What day is? I don't even know what day it is. But yeah, we've been playing live this week, so I'm kind of.
Thursday.
It's Thursday, isn't it? Yeah. So we had a gig on Tuesday, and I'm still recovering from that. But yeah, it was good. It was good, and yeah, feeling good.
That's great. Well, Tom, I'll let you.
Awesome. Well, yeah. So I would very much like to kick it off with a brief summary of what kind of band The Bad Day is.
Yeah, sure. Well, we're odd. We're an odd band. Because like we used to be called back in the day, like a few years ago when we started, we used to be called the Bad Day Blues Band. So the kind of clues in the title, like we were kind of bluesy. But then we kind of the music kind of changed more and developed into kind of contemporary rock, really. Although we still got harmonica players, so we dropped the blues band from the title and just called The Bad Day. So we're kind of like contemporary rock, but with a slight bluesy kind of vibe about it. So a lot of people say like sound a bit like the Killers, or a bit of Springsteen, or a bit of Rival Sons, or like that kind of thing. So yeah, it's kind of rock music, really. It's cool rock music.
That's that's lovely. And just to kind of tag on from that, just to expand upon it a bit. How did all of the band really form and come together to what it is now?
Well, I knew the guitar player Nick. I've known him for years from like previous bands and stuff. And when I moved down to kind of London from my neck of the woods, and we weren't doing anything music wise, and then we started going to like jams and stuff, and then it got really fun, and we were like, oh, we should really make a band, shouldn't we? And then kind of we found like a harmonica player, and then we just thought, oh, it'd be quite cool to have that in a rock band. It's a little unusual. And then just found a great drummer, and it just kind of went from there. Really, we went from just meeting up doing jams to small gigs, to then bigger gigs, to then festivals, to going abroad and stuff, and all the other stuff that followed. So yeah, just started out in that like that, really, just in London kind of area. Yeah, just going to jams and putting the music together, and just quickly developed from there, really.
Amazing.
Do you have a personal favourite of where you've played, like a venue or like festival, or is there like a personal preference for you?
It's a tricky one, isn't it? Because the like festivals are obviously. Are you guys musicians? I don't know if you kind of.
No, not particularly.
So like festivals are like, it's like a very different vibe to like club gigs and stuff, isn't it? And they're both great though. Like Tuesday night we did like an acoustic thing, which was a totally different vibe. So like for like acoustic stuff, I like smaller places. There's some great venues in London. I mean, all over the country, but places like the 100 Club, if you've ever been there in Oxford Street, it's a favourite. There's an awesome blues bar called Ain't Nothing But the Blues. and Soho, which is legendary. Yeah, I quite like the cool clubs like that, kind of the vibey clubs we really like for small places. But like festivals, we played the Isle of Wight a couple of times, which is obviously amazing.
Yeah.
And we do one round here called Penfest, which is quite a big festival now. We're playing there again in the summer. People like Paul Weller and Noel Gallagher and stuff.
Oh,
It's
cool.
that kind of vibe.
That's
That's
awesome.
it as well.
Yeah, but how did you come up with the
Cool.
name of the band?
Because it was like we wanted. There's a lot of like on the blues kind of rock scene or the blues scene really. There's a lot of kind of that kind of. It was originally called the Bad Day Blues Band. There was a lot of the something something blues bands. And it's just got. It was quite cool. I thought it was like kind of. We wanted to be quite traditional when we started out. So there was bands like called like the Dust Me Down Blues Band, the Blues Band. It was like, oh, let's stick with that. So it was the Bad Day Blues Band. Just thought it sounded cool. And then we dropped the Blues Band. It was just the Bad Day, and thought, yeah, it's kind of all our songs are quite a bit kind of they've all got a bit of pain in them, and it's all kind of a bit of a darker undertone. There's not too much kind of happiness and light going on in the songs. So the Bad Day kind of fits with that as well. Really, it's quite cool.
Yeah, of course. Yes, pretty cool. Honestly, I can't say I'm overly familiar with the blues scene, but
Yeah, I mean, there's some. I mean, we're not really blues. I mean, that's the problem we've had with is moving from like the blues circuit and stuff uh, to the rock kind of circuit. Uh, as soon as people kind of think we've got a harmonica player, they think we're a blues band. They either want bookers or they're not interested in watching because they go, oh, blues. And you think of like old guys kind of on a porch playing an acoustic guitar or something. And I mean, have a listen to our stuff. I mean, the stuff we do is it's more rock than blues, but there's a lot of bands you would think are just rock bands that are like really heavily influenced by the blues. Like, I mean, like Led Zeppelin's the classic example. Really, were a blues band when they started. The first album was pretty much blues. It was all blues songs, and they're stereotypical rock band. A lot of people would say, but yeah, I do love blues and the old traditional blues stuff as well. Heavily influenced by it, but nothing like the rock really. What we're doing now, it's quite getting towards the heavier side.
I mean, the harmonica might really be the hidden gem. Sorry. I think the harmonica might actually be kind of hidden gem rock music because you don't really feature it as much, but when you do, it just goes fucking hard.
Yeah. It's unique, isn't it? Having it. I think it's unique because it's probably quite tricky to do in a rock band because it's easier in blues, for example, which is why people think of it blues instrument because the structures of a song in the blues are relatively simple. The classic like 3-chord kind of trick. So that's easier for a harmonica player to play around. But when you do like rock songs or pop songs or metal or any of the kind of more modern genres, there's more chords in like a strong in a song generally. So it's harder for the harmonica player to fit in because like I don't know if you know about harmonicas. I don't know why I'm talking about harmonicas because he does my head in the harmonica player and he should be here talking about himself. But they're generally all in like one key. So say the song's in A, right? He goes, what key is it in? So you say, oh, it's in A. So he gets out this harmonica that's in A. So basically, he can't be out of tune in that song if he's playing that harmonica. If the song's in A, but if you're doing like a complicated rock song that goes from different keys, he's fucked basically because he's got this harmonica out and he's doing that, and then it'll sound out of tune. So it's hard to do harmonica in a rock band, which is why you don't see it so much. But we persevere.
You just surely at that point you just got a Music Man it, just have a whole rig lined up across your face with all the keys.
Well, you can get one. It's called a chromatic. It's called a chromatic, which is a big long thing like this.
I was just thinking it's just got a table.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he is very good to be fair. He's quite annoying if he's listening. Sam, he's a very annoying person, but he is actually very good on the harmonica, so we'll let him off.
I mean,
we'll let him because on the harmonica.
Yeah, exactly. But Tom, I believe it's back to you.
Yes. Well, is there any upcoming music coming from the lovely band, or have you released any music that we should have heard?
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's why kind of I'm here really, and why we've started, because we haven't done any kind of interviews or podcast stuff like this in probably like about a year. Like our last album came out. Obviously, it's classic, isn't it? You do that when you're promoting an album, you go and do loads of podcasts and stuff. So we did a ton of that probably about a year ago. So I haven't done any in ages. So this is like the first one. It's to be honest, it's a little early because we haven't even announced the new album yet.
You've
So
done it in a long while.
yeah, you guys get the exclusive that the new album's coming. I think it's going to be the first week in June. I think it's going to be called exclusive. It's going to be called The Irish Goodbye.
I love an exclusive uncensored scoop.
Yeah. We haven't told anyone yet that, but we're just planning kind of the promo of it. But yeah, it's awesome. It's definitely.
Would you like us to censor or remove that?
No,
we can do that if need be.
No, you're more than welcome. It's if the others have got a problem with it, they should have been here, shouldn't they? So I've spilled the beans, so it's tough.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. I've
Yeah.
got the receipts to back it up.
But yeah, it's really good. It's just in kind of mixing and mastering stage now, so it won't be long, and then the first single will be out probably in about a month. And then,
well, amazing. How would you like define the sound of this new album? Like you said, you've been steering much more into the rock direction.
yeah, it's quite a mixed bag, really. Like our last album we did was a concept album, so it was like all the songs flowed into each other, and it kind of told a story.
Yeah.
Like some of the classic rock kind of Pink Floyd or those kind of albums. But this isn't. This is like track classic kind of rock.
Yeah.
So some of it's quite AC/DC, but some of it's like a bit more singer-songwriter, and some of it's a little bit heavier, like kind of a little bit Rival Sons-esque. There's got hints of like Black Sabbath and Pink Floyd and some of the old school bands that we like in there.
Yeah.
So it's got a bit of everything really, but at the core of it all, the songs are just all got really good melodies.
Yeah. Well, I'm really looking forward to hearing it. When did you say you'd say possibly early June?
I think the first week in June, I think is probably going to come out. Irish Goodbye, first week in June. I think you know how everyone does it now, where you release like you get like the tracks probably get 2 or 3 tracks in the pre-order leading up to it in the next. Probably starts in the next month, and then we'll be doing loads of stuff like this, promoting it and gigs and stuff leading up to it. So it's exciting. It's a good time.
Amazing. Well, make sure to mark that in your calendars for the first week of June, probably. And
I'll send you guys a copy as soon as it's done. I'll send you some over.
Oh, incredible. Yeah, I mean, I could even listen to it in the interval and give my live feedback. But yeah, I mean, you named so many great artists that you say it has a very similar sound to, and I mean, not every band has a harmonica, so it's obviously gonna have like a unique flair to it. So I'm looking forward to that. It should be a good project.
Yeah. There's a bit of something in there for everyone, really. So
yeah,
hopefully it'll do well. The last album did really well. That concept album, it was just called The Bad Day. If anyone wants to catch up on our old music, it's called The Bad Day. It's in 2 parts, so yeah, it's a concept album, and it was one of the tracks did really well. It was called Devil's Lullaby, and that was voted 5th best rock song in the world by Classic Rock magazine.
Oh wow!
So that's not bad. 5th in the world.
Wow.
Yeah, that's really a big feat. Like it's the top 5.
That's really good.
Yeah, it's a good song. Devil's Lullaby. Check it out. There's a video and stuff on YouTube.
Oh, I might have to use my interval to listen to it. But Tom, I'll swing back to you.
Hey, swinging back to you, mate.
Okay, well, we're swinging back to me.
I tell you what we can talk about, which I'm interested in, is you've got John Cena in your background there.
Ho ho ho!
Can we move the conversation slightly towards wrestling? Because I'm a big wrestling fan.
Absolutely, I am a massive wrestling fan. So for the first time in this year, actually, we finally get to
found another, Riley. We found another.
We can break out the wrestling. I assume you're looking forward to the Rumble soon.
Yeah, I'm quite looking forward to it. I'm not like I'd love to have a conversation with you now about modern day wrestlers, but I just anything after about 2000,
Yeah.
I enjoy it still, but I can't get into it as much.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. I did a lot of catching up, watching a lot more of the old stuff. My favorite match actually is well, actually, I mean, it's not really. It's early 2000. I think it's 2006 Judgment Day, John Cena versus JBL. I Quit match.
Yeah, I
Um,
know the one. I've seen that. Yeah,
it's a brilliant match where he puts him through the TV and everything.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
I'm
is Cena your man? Is he your?
no, actually. In fact, I never paid for this. Um, I've told this story once or twice, but it's been a while. So essentially, I went to see AEW All In at Wembley last year, uh, and someone had brought a John Cena cutout. But when they left him standing in the stadium. So I was like, well, someone's got to have him.
Yeah, yeah.
So I folded him up, put him under my wing, and I carried him through a storm of 80,000 people, then a packed tube. And then my train just decided, yeah, we're just going to terminate now. So then we had to just walk around Bond Street aimlessly. So we saw Madame Tussauds for a little bit. Then he was in some stranger's cab, and then a friend's house, and then a car, and then another friend's house, and then another car before finally making his way to my room. So he's got a rich history. But I mean, I feel like Cena at a level is everybody's guy. Everyone loves John Cena.
Yeah,
Uh,
he's pretty cool. He was good. I
yeah.
mean, I'm super old school. I mean, like when I grew up, it was like well, Hulk Hogan still and the Ultimate Warrior. And my favorite, who actually you may be able to see, actually there, wherever he is. I've got a little old school retro Jake the Snake Roberts,
Oh wow.
who was my favorite wrestler back in the day.
Awesome.
Yeah, I do like watching a good old Jake the Snake match.
Yeah, not perhaps not the physical specimen that
The
John Cena is, but
Yeah,
he was
but no,
just cool. He was
yeah, he
just
was
cool.
cool. He had a good gimmick.
the whole snake gimmick was quite cool. The whole snake gimmick was quite cool. Just throw his massive fucking python on someone
Yeah.
after a match or something. That is like genuinely awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, obviously because I'm more new generation, I'm going to know a lot more about the new generation. But when it comes to like the old school wrestlers, I feel like my favorite is debuting Kane when Kane still had like the plastic mask and it was like right after he just came out. He was just a monster. Or like prime Brock Lesnar, like when he
Yeah.
was just
What is
a mowing machine.
what it's got to be Kane.
But like when he had his rookie year, then he won the Rumble, went on to main event WrestleMania. Like that is just cool to watch. It doesn't happen every day. Such a dominant force is like put in. So
I think, don't you think now though with wrestling, like, I mean, I might be wrong because I don't really watch too much of it, like the modern stuff. I might be wrong, so if I'm wrong, I apologize in advance. But the characters just they just don't seem to be quite as entertaining or like because the old school you used to get like the Undertaker who had a gimmick or Jake
yeah,
had an image or like they were all a bit kind of crazy and larger than life kind of strange. Like Big Boss Man was a policeman or there was the Mountie. Now they all seem to be kind of like everyone's gimmick is they're just wrestlers. They're just athletes and they take it very seriously. There doesn't seem to be
yeah, I do definitely see what you mean. I can't disagree with it. I think I I do think that it's more focused on like the individual personalities of like each wrestler now, rather than well, he is Snake Boy and he can snake you. But like there is definitely still some cool gimmicks out there. They're just a bit less what's the word? Like larger than life. They're a bit more grounded, I'd say.
more realistic kind of.
Yeah, exactly. It's like obviously they're still not exactly what you're gonna see when you're trying to buy a sausage roll, but like they are not as like grand as they were in like the 80s and 90s. And that's probably also down to the fact at this point, so much has been done. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
That could be it, couldn't it? What else can you do without it just being a rip-off of
There's
something
much
they've
to
already
be
done?
done.
yeah, exactly. Like you can't really just have and he's dog man and he'll dog you at all. Uh,
I think that's something else
No,
completely.
don't be saying that, right? Don't say that. Don't say that, Riley.
dog man won't do. That's not what dog man does. He's no,
He's into
that's
dogging, right? So that's
no,
fine.
no. He doesn't. He's never dogged at WrestleMania. It's a common misconception. Um,
Live on TV.
yeah, that's why the Peacock deals ended.
God.
They refused to re-sign after that. Um, oh yes, yeah, that's something. They're moving to Netflix next year. I don't know if you've seen.
Yeah, I saw that.
How
I
is
was about
that
to
gonna
say.
work?
I was just about to say that, Riley. What me and Riley did somehow. I seem to think it's just going to be. It'll be uploaded the next day. So obviously it'll be filmed on a Monday and it'll go out on a Tuesday or something.
Yeah.
But they can't do that with like PLEs. Like they can't just be like, oh yeah, here's WrestleMania, but you can get it tomorrow.
They're,
Like they'd have to do it live, but
they're
Netflix
pay-per-view
isn't
for
a
a
live
reason.
streamer. But they can't go back to pay-per-views now. Like they've been established as premium live events because they come under the subscription service. So it'd be kind of scummy if they were like, no, actually, you do have to pay £20 if you want to watch WrestleMania again. Right.
Yeah. I don't know how they're going to do it. Maybe they'll start like putting all of like the old stuff on there as well, and there'll be a whole like catalog on Netflix.
I think
Maybe
that is what they're doing. I think they're basically just because they're shutting down the network, the whole WWE network.
right.
So I'm assuming they're just transferring everything onto Netflix, which
Yeah,
does make you think, surely at that point, Netflix's primary source would be wrestling because the amount of like WWE content and WWF content over the years would far outweigh like the newest season of Outer Banks.
yeah.
So I'm curious to see how they're going to do it. I think they might have to do a bit of reworking of how like a lot of the platform just fundamentally does work though.
Yeah. Yeah. It'd be good to see though. I've got Netflix, so that means I can watch a bit more of wrestling. It'd be good.
Yeah, same. I got Netflix. I learned that if you're logged in on a PlayStation, it can't really track where you are, so you don't get hit with the actually this isn't your account. We're going to sign you out.
Ah,
So I've still been. I mean, no. I pay for my own Netflix.
yeah. Top tip.
Yeah, I pay. I've never been a Netflix moocher, and I have.
Save your ass now, Riley.
Yeah, and Disney Plus either. If you are a streaming provider, I pay. But yeah, no, it's going to be weird to see
Yeah, you do,
changeover. Looking forward to the new game though. That comes out in a few months and it's really good.
New game. I don't know that.
Just the newest 2K. Cody Rhodes.
Oh, right. Okay, the newest wrestling game. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Cody Rhodes cover superstar. I didn't think it would actually have been Cody, but I'm a
Yeah,
big Cody fanboy.
he seems to be quite bankable, doesn't he? This use him for a lot of stuff. It's not the
Yeah.
same. It's not the
Yeah.
same. The best wrestling game ever was one. What was it called? I used to play it in the arcade, and it had all of the classics on it, like Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior.
I
It was
feel
like
like
20, it was 20 pence, I think, or you used to put 50p in. Maybe it was 50 pence in the arcade. Just hammer the shit out of the thing in the arcade machine. Don't make them like that anymore.
I feel like the unanimous decision, like opinion throughout most like wrestling game fans, SmackDown versus Raw 2007 is largely regarded as this was like the peak. But I don't think I ever played it because I was born in 2007.
There's still time. You could get it. I'm sure I'll get it on a retro thing, right?
Yeah, or like an emulator. I have actually been looking because it does look good, but because I don't think the 2Ks have the same aura that a lot of the SmackDown versus Raw games did, or even like WWE 13, which was the first like wrestling game I ever played just before 2K picked it up. That was great though. with CM Punk.
Yeah. I've got quite a few of them. I do like a wrestling game.
Yeah, I like when they can be realistic, but you can also choose to have them more arcadey though.
Yeah.
It's like if I want to make Rey Mysterio pick up Andre the Giant, let me.
It could happen.
It could. That'd be a WrestleMania moment for sure.
I'd
But
quite like to be a wrestler. If the music doesn't work out, I'm thinking I might play Ghost. Well, I'm practically semi-pro wrestler as it is, so I mean, could easily.
I'll keep an eye out on the indie scene for you then. I feel like everyone kind of would like to be a wrestler though.
One of our friends actually do that.
You say one of your friends is a wrestler. Is that what you're saying?
Training.
Yeah, but I would love it. I'd love it to death. But I feel like I love the idea of doing it a lot more than I love doing it. Like, I mean, I boxed for years, and that's one thing, but that's just a lot of damage to my face and forearms. Like that is like, oh yeah, here is 5 feet. Yeah, I'm gonna just throw you off of it. And you're just gonna get up and do a backflip. I don't know if I don't know if I'd actually be about that in practice.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, long term, I don't think it's not great for your body, is it? Long term, I don't think.
yeah, I feel like it's something you've got to acknowledge that it's a sacrifice. Like you can't be doing it when you're like 70, Ric Flair.
Yeah, he should have stopped, shouldn't he? Probably before he did. I think.
He's gonna die in the ring. He's done.
Yeah.
Like no one's gonna go, oh, you quitter. How have you just stopped
Yeah.
now? Like, no, boss, you are on your deathbed. Just allow it.
Yeah.
Like, no one's judging you. You had one of the best pro wrestling careers of all time. You can stop. Like,
I guess they don't know how though, do they? I think it's like I think it's probably some of the musicians actually, isn't it? Or any kind of adrenaline sport when you do it so long, it's like
yeah.
how do you stop? How do you be like that's who you become, isn't it? Yeah. If you're in a band or you do something for 30 years or 40 years, it's like, okay, what do I do now? I don't want to stop doing it. Just do
You
it
can't
longer.
exactly just like work in Costco after.
Yeah. Or even if you're rich at that point, you just probably get bored sitting around.
Oh yeah, it'd drive me insane. It would sound like such a first world problem, but if I just had like unlimited money and nothing to do, I'd go and say I can't even like sit in a room. I have to be like walking around. I can't stay in the same place. It bugs me. So if I had literally nothing to do, nothing I ever needed to do, I think it would make my skin crawl.
Well, that's probably the same with Ric Flair. He probably says the same thing, really.
Yeah, no, but the issue is I'm 16. I can afford to do that. He can't. He's like literally just a bag of bones. It sounds really morbid, but Ric Flair, man, you're done. Like your body will give up on you, and that is just a fact. Like,
That's actually a title from one of the songs of the new album is Bag of Bones.
oh really?
So you've just linked to it perfectly again there.
See, I'm a Segway master. What can I say? That was my plan all along. But just actually firing a quick question out about going back to the band and everything. If what mascot would you have if it can't be an animal? So it's got to be like a keyboard or a electric like Wi-Fi router.
Can it not be an animal?
No, no animal. That's too boring.
I've been working on a new logo, which is an animal.
Oh God. Well, I'll humour it.
I don't know if you can see it. Hang on. I'm not supposed to be showing.
That goes quite hard, actually.
It was
That's pretty awesome.
It's a lion.
I thought it was going to be a badger.
Not supposed to show anyone that.
No, we didn't see anything.
It's kind of a theme with the new album. Is it's a lion.
Oh really? Is
there what was the question?
If it can't be an animal.
So like an inanimate object.
Essentially.
Oh, that's tricky, isn't it? It's tricky without it being boring. What inanimate object is not boring? Hmm.
Disco balls.
Anything if you put your mind to it.
Maybe like maybe like a maybe like a nice armchair or something comfortable. Hammock, you know, hammock. That kind of encapsulates the laziness of the other members of my band.
A hammock.
Oh,
Yo, guys, did you buy the new? Did you buy the Bad Day merch? No, no. What is it? It's a hammock. Oh, that's rad. I'll cop one of those.
the bad day hammock.
Hey, I'd buy a hammock if it was cool. I mean, have you ever been in a hammock?
I have. I have.
They're great.
I think they're overrated.
I haven't.
Oh, okay.
It's something about me liking to move and the center of balance. They don't align. I always find myself about to fall off a hammock. I prefer an egg chair.
Well, yeah, we could have an egg chair instead, I suppose, if that's doable.
The Bad Day egg chair.
Or a bean bag.
The Bad Day beanbag. Now that might be onto something.
That worked. That works.
And then at your gigs, you can set out bean bags
Wow.
for the
Bad
people at the
Day
back who party just a bit too hard. I
We do
reckon.
we do need to work on our merch stall offering because we can never be bothered with it because it's always like massive effort.
Mm.
Yeah, we need to. We've been put to shame recently with other bands' merch stalls. You know, when you go to a gig and they've got like 12 different models of
Yeah.
t-shirt and like all different colors and vinyl and like we're there with like we've got like I think vinyl CD and a tape and one t-shirt. And it's like we need to up our merch game, definitely.
So is that new logo that you didn't really show us?
Well, it's specifically designed for merch because it's going to look sick on like
That is
t-shirt
gonna look cool.
hats and stuff.
I might invest in one myself when that becomes an official thing.
Yeah. So it's not like the album cover or anything, but it's kind of linked to the album cover without giving it too much away.
Mm.
Lion themed.
Wicked. Well, I'm just gonna cut you off there because the meeting is about to end. So we're about to go into our brief little interval, and then we'll be back for the second half.
Cool.
Okay, see you in part two. Welcome back to part two. It's been 24 hours and one host. But we're back to finish. How are you doing this fine evening?
I'm very well. Very well. Yeah, it's Friday. It's Friday here, which means it's part time.
Yeah, it is. And I'm so glad it's Friday. It's been a long week. So we're struggling with some technical difficulties before this because if nobody could tell, because he disconnects out half the time anyway, Tom isn't here. I'm flying solo for the second half of this, and then all of my shit died. But we're just gonna have a nice mellow chat for the next half hour or so to wrap up the podcast. And so I'll delve right into the question I always really asked is there any songs of yours that you would particularly put in a film, like a moment in a film?
Oh yeah. Do you know like I mean the one everyone wants is Bond, right? Obviously. Everyone wants the
Yeah.
Bond one. So I've got one recently that I wrote, which I think would make a cracking Bond. Not soundtrack, but yeah, you know, like the one at the end of Bond. So
Like the
it's
big
really
title, like
yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Like maybe it's not for me and my band to perform. I might try and get someone else to record it or something and try and annoy the Bond people. You never know.
yeah.
But yeah, Bond's the one I'd like to do, just because they're normally quite kind of mean and moody, and yeah, just I really dig all the Bond songs. They're normally quite cool, and so that would be the one I think. Yeah, probably it's got to be quite epic for a movie, I think, hasn't it?
It's true. I mean, just as you mentioned Bonds, just because Tom's not here to register me, so I can speak freely. Who do you want to play the next James Bond?
Oh, do you know, I'm probably going to get into trouble if we go down this route of not being politically correct. I think it's got for me like movies that are like from books.
Yeah.
I think I've got a kind of if you're calling it a Bond movie, you've got to stick to the kind of original material to a certain degree. So for me, Bond's got to be a bit like he was in the books.
Yeah.
So I'm not really feeling the vibe of recasting like with a woman. Sorry, ladies, or a different race from what's in the book. And that's not that I've got anything against women or anything like that. It just for me that's a different movie.
Yeah, of course.
You know, call it something else and have it as a different franchise, a different movie. If it's a Bond movie, then it's kind of got to be Bond. Otherwise, it's not Bond really anymore. And I guess you could do that. I think a bit like that with like the superheroes as well. You know, like they're always talking about like recasting them, and it's a big thing online, isn't it? Like,
Yeah,
because
especially at the moment.
Gets loads of clicks if you put something like crazy, like I don't know, Samuel L. Jackson's going to be the next Superman. It gets loads of clicks, even though it's not. But for me, it's not. He wouldn't be Superman. You know what I mean? It's not. I love Samuel L. Jackson. I know that's a ridiculous example because he's far too old to play Superman, but yeah, it's got to be kind of. It's got to show respect to the original source material. I think otherwise you're doing it a disservice.
Yeah.
What do you think? Who do you think would be good for Bond?
Well, we're going to clash slightly here. I agree with everything you've said, but I'm not a diehard James Bond fan, and this isn't even a matter of I think they would like be most accurate, but I would just love to see Idris Elba in that kind of role, even if it's not a Bond. Like I'd be happy with some sort of spin-off, but I just think Idris Elba is in that bracket that he'd be really good because I just really like Idris Elba.
Yeah, he is. I mean, he's awesome, isn't he?
Yeah.
Like I love Luther and a lot of the movies he's done, he's great in anything. But yeah, for me, if you put him like in a tuxedo,
yeah,
he just wouldn't be James Bond. It'd be something else, really. You'd be watching, I think.
True. I think in a bit of a rogue shout, I wouldn't mind seeing Hugh Jackman as Bond if they like. I mean, he's not scruffy, but you know where I'm going. Like, tidied him a bit and made him like really suave. I could see it. I could see because
yeah, Hugh Jackman.
Or just go left field, cast The Rock. He's in everything else anyway.
Yeah, he is, isn't he?
Nicolas Cage is James Bond.
Everyone was going on about Henry Cavill. I don't know how you say his surname.
Henry Cavill, yeah, I'd love that.
Cavill for a long time, and he's almost too obvious a choice, isn't he? Because he's kind of done that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'm sure he did very well, but he's almost too obvious, like good-looking kind of spy-looking Englishman.
True, but I mean, he played Superman.
Yeah,
I think he's the only Superman to. Have you ever heard of the Superman curse?
Oh no, go and tell me. I think I have, but I forgot.
It's a really interesting thing that every like actor that played Superman found it really, really difficult to find work in anything else after because they've become so synonymous with that like brand of Superman that no one could hire him for anything else. And Henry Cavill was the only real example of someone who didn't follow that trend.
Yeah, he's done all right, hasn't he?
He has. I love Henry Cavill. He's great. I still actually need to watch the Snyder Cut Justice League. Because when it was like big and trending, it was like I swear they would charge him something ridiculous on Amazon for it, and I didn't care that much.
Is it black and white, or there is a black and white version? Is that the one?
I don't think it's black and white, but I haven't watched it, so I couldn't say for sure. But no,
yeah, he's awesome. I liked him in The Witcher as well. I thought the Witcher.
Yeah, I swear they're recasting him though.
Yeah, I think they are, and
he quit.
Not quite as good.
I don't remember who it was. I remember thinking he will be good, but if you've had Henry Cavill for multiple seasons,
yeah.
Apparently it was creative differences because Henry Cavill was a massive Witcher fan. So when they were like, "Oh, we're going to change this," he was like, "No, don't." And they were like, "Oh, we're going to," and he was like, "Oh, well, I'm leaving." I'm sure it went just like that. But
yeah. But he's doing, isn't he? He's doing the Warhammer stuff now, isn't he? The Warhammer.
Yeah, I believe so.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, that will. Really cool. I tried dipping my foot into Warhammer, but it's an expensive hobby. Although I did kind of bounce off of Warhammer, and I've been really into Gundams lately. I've been building these little robot things.
All right. What they got? I've not seen them before. Gundams.
Gundams with an A. Yeah, they're pretty awesome. It's just because none of it's glue or anything. It's all just like clicking pieces together and like stickers, and then like you just kind of make things, and it's pretty cool.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, I found it through a friend who was really into Warhammer and all that stuff. But while we were on the subject of actors and that, I wrote it to what actor would you want to play yourself when they come out with your biopic for the band?
Oh God. I don't know, man. That's such a one to answer, isn't it? Without being massively egotistical. I think everyone wants someone like handsome and suave and debonair, but actually, it's probably some kind of geek, some lanky geek out with a northern accent who would probably play me. So, who fits that role? Maybe I'll just play myself. That's the way to do it, isn't it? Take
Some
it back.
people do. I mean,
Yeah.
I that is my soft spot, biopics. I I'm yet
Which
to watch a bad one.
there's been a few. They've been quite trendy, haven't they, recently? Like the Queen one was not bad, was it?
That was good. Yeah. Rocket Man was phenomenal. And
Yeah,
this might be something bad to say. I never liked Elton John. And I watched the biopic and I got into Elton John because it was so good.
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
God.
John's a funny one, isn't it? Because like it's funny. It's a bit like the younger generation getting into like the Beatles is a good example. Because
Yeah.
like people, if you're quite young now and you're not familiar with the Beatles or Elton John or an older thing, you just kind of know them as the old man that they are now.
Yeah.
You think I'm not going to listen to that. Like Paul McCartney, he's like just like some kind of really kind of cringy old man dude, isn't he? And you're not going to go and listen to his music. But if did actually go back and listen to the Beatles, you'd be like, oh shit, they're actually the best band ever. And Elton
Yeah.
John's like his early '70s stuff is fucking amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, oh, it's phenomenal. And the Beatles is a slightly different situation for me because I grew up on the Beatles just because my
Uh,
dad is very much like Beatles coded. But yeah, I think that film was great. Is there any biopics that you watched that you've really stood out?
uh not recent ones. No, I did quite enjoy both of those big ones. I thought the Elton John one was better than the Queen one.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
But someone told me that there's a really good Beach Boys one called Love and Hate or something, which is
I
brilliant. I've got
haven't watched that one actually.
uh, and yeah, I'm a massive Beatles fan, so anything Beatlesy I really like. But it hasn't really been a great Beatles kind of related movie in a while. Probably my favorite Beatles one is one when I was growing up called Backbeat, which was it was kind of set in the Beatles. You know when the Beatles went to Hamburg, so before they became famous,
Yeah,
and it's all in like kind of the seedy strip clubs of Hamburg and stuff, and it's a bit kind of bit more grown up, and it's Stephen Dorff is in it. If you know who Stephen Dorff is,
I recognize the name.
he was in like Blade, and he's an actor, but he played Stuart Sutcliffe in that. It's all about that relationship with the Beatles, and that's a great movie.
Oh,
But I think the Beatles are due like a big biopic, perhaps
oh,
like the Queen.
definitely. This doesn't count as a biopic, but have you ever watched the film Yesterday?
No, I haven't actually. No, I haven't seen it. Is it
It's
good?
Yeah, weirdly, it's a lot better than it looks. I was really expecting it to be like shit, but it is actually a really good film. It's not like a biopic or anything. It's just the basic premise, bloke. I don't remember why it happens. Oh yeah, so he gets hit by a truck, and all of a sudden he wakes up in a timeline where the Beatles never existed. So he just pretends he wrote the Beatles music and gets like proper famous. But then he's like, "Nah, mate." Yeah, no, it's really good. I recommend watching it. Uh,
Yeah, I've heard it's good. I might have to try.
yeah, I watched it on a whim, but it is really good. The only other biopic I can say I watched, I'd say my favorite biopic, even though it is not the best, but my favorite is The Dirt. I really like The Dirt.
Was that Motley
Yeah,
Crue?
the Motley Crue one. It's
Yeah,
probably because it was the first biopic I think I watched, and it got me into to be fair, it got me into a large portion of rock in general because I grew up in Romford, so I was raised by my surroundings, which wasn't exactly like like 80s to 90s glam rock.
yeah,
But
sure.
Yeah. So, who did we decide who was going to play you?
I think myself. I think that's the conclusion I've come to.
What would you have for your bandmates? Is there anyone that really would have a celebrity look-alike?
Uh, just like ugly fat old people, basically anyone. Like probably just get some homeless people off the street to play them, feed them,
Give
feed them
them
a
their
hot dog.
big break.
Yeah, yeah, just to make me look better. That's what I would do.
Oh,
Yeah, speaking of the Beatles, this is actually I just got this. So this is I'm like quite into vinyl, right? But this is like it's not an EP. It is an EP, I guess. It's not like a long player. It's like single vinyls. But how cool is it? It's like a double single vinyl with a cool little book in the middle.
oh, wicked.
Like I don't know if you've seen it.
No, that's really,
Magical mystery to it. It's awesome. Love it.
that's really cool. I always keep putting my hand a bit closer to the fire with vinyls every time. I'm a bit closer to like starting a vinyl collection, and then I'm like, I can't justify it.
Yeah, once you start, that's it. You're in.
Exactly, and that's the issue. Like, just look at my room. I don't need something else to collect.
Yeah. Are those at the top? Are those Funko Pops? Is that
Yeah, they are.
so? Interesting fact: our guitar player works for those.
Oh wow, really?
I think he's a director or something. He's got quite a decent job. He works for Funko Pops.
Oh, sick. Have you seen the whole Slipknot controversy about the Funko Pops?
No, no.
Because they obviously fired Jay Weinberg pretty recently,
Yeah.
and it came out like literally like maybe a few weeks, a month or two after they fired him. The Funko Pop line that was released with Jay Weinberg in it. And so there was a large portion of the community like, oh mate, that's bad. Like, how are you still going to make money off of him? I mean, realistically, it's a contractual thing. Like, they
Yeah.
couldn't have just went, so we had a bit of a fight. Do you mind taking him out? Like, these were in the works for months to years. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm
Okay.
seeing, yeah. Looking forward to seeing Slipknot actually.
They're a great band, aren't they? I love Slipknot.
Yeah, thing is, it's a matter of if I don't see them now, I don't think I'll ever get the chance to.
Yeah. Yeah. Do it. Yeah. I bet they're great. I haven't seen them live, but I bet they're great live.
Yeah, I've never seen them. I've never seen anything nearly as heavy as Slipknot, like live. So that'll be good. But I'll roll on quickly to the next question, just to keep a ball somewhat rolling. Um, so after, well, about 24 hours, we've had a slow, very slow but steady deep dive into, who you are and the band and everything and biopics. But we haven't really asked the question, the one that everyone's clicked on for, the one that everyone's been gagging to know. So really, I don't need to give it much more of an introduction. What is the best sandwich?
Ah, the best sandwich. I'm gonna go with roast beef sandwich.
You know what? I tip my hat. That's a simple yet very solid answer.
If you can get like nice beef, like not tough, if it's nice beef, with like maybe like some horseradish or some mustard or something with some nice bread. It beats any chicken or bacon kind of combo, kind of standard thing. Beef is the way I think if you can get a nice beef sandwich.
That does sound elite, to be fair.
How about yourself? What
You know what? I get asked this. I mean, obviously, when you ask it every episode, you get asked it every now and then, and my answer always changes. But I'm gonna slightly mix it up. Just a brief of what my favorite sandwich is. I'll go back to this one. I'm a big mash fan. Mash and like fish, like battered cod. I know it sounds ludicrous, but it's basically just fish and chips sandwich, and it's incredible. Like
Okay.
even whack a bit of vinegar and a bit of mayonnaise and a nice chunky roll. Believe me, it sounds disgraceful, but it's something.
All right. Okay. Yeah, you've got a lot of ingredients going on there. Yeah, it's gonna be big.
Yeah, it's quite a beefy meal. It's a dinner. But
Yeah.
if you ever find yourself maybe you're going on an hour car journey and you're like, I don't really have time to stop, cook one of those up. But I'll tell you something that I didn't try, but I made. Because me and my friend happen to have a friend who lives very close by, and we were making a grilled cheese, and we said, "Hey, do you want one?" And he said, "Yeah." So we delivered him a specialized grilled cheese. Uh, it was obviously bread, followed by butter, cheese. Second piece of bread, and now this is the interesting section. There was a bit more cheese and butter, and we added bay leaves um, to add some crunch,
Right.
along with some chili flakes and
Jeez.
some curry powder, if you want to talk like lots of ingredients.
Wow.
Followed by more cheese, butter, and a third piece of bread. Put it on a George Foreman, put a baby bell on top, and skewer it. And apparently, it was pretty good.
Doesn't sound good. It sounds mental.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it to be great, but I mean, I guess all the flavors kind of do go together.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll tell you what's nice. Christmas sandwich. Make one on Boxing Day after you with all your Christmas leftovers. They're always great.
Absolutely. Any leftovers sandwich is incredible, though.
Yeah. I love
Like,
food.
food is so good. What's your favorite food?
Probably Chinese or pizzas. I do like a nice Chinese, anything Chinesey.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with Chinese. Pizza, I feel like the issue is it's so accessible to have just like a frozen pizza. It loses novelty. I don't love a pizza. I mean, if I get a takeout, that's slightly different. But me personally, I'm on the other spectrum of it. I'm a burger man.
No?
I love a burger, especially a chicken burger. But yeah, any burger is my go-to whenever I'm ordering from somewhere.
Yeah, they can be good kind of burgers. If you get a nice one, they can be good.
Yeah, definitely.
I'll tell you
Uh,
where the best pizza I've ever had. And I've had a lot of pizza because I'm quite a fan. There's a place called, bit of free advertising for them. It's called God's Own Pizza,
hmm.
and it's in Essex, London kind of area. I can't remember where it is, but unbelievable. God's Own Pizza.
Odd
That's
sign. Well, I mean, I'm Essex based, so I might have to see how near it is, and maybe
yeah,
I'll give a uncensored God's own pizza review.
yeah. I think they do deliveries and stuff, but it's not a massive place. But it's
Oh,
just
they
they've got.
won't deliver to where I'm based. I don't even think Deliveroo are out here.
Have
Like,
you been banned? They're like,
yeah,
yeah, again. He's on the red list.
I just live in the middle of like nowhere. Um, okay, about an hour's drive. That does look like a good pizza.
It's maybe worth an hour's drive if you're bored and you've got like an hour to kill and you fancy pizza. I would recommend that. It's definitely the best pizza I've ever had.
It's hang on, I'm trying. You know what?
I can't
I
remember where
it's in Epping.
Epping, yeah, which is near Epping Forest. So while you're out there, you can check the forest out, and that's really nice as well. You can have a walk around there. It's like a really nice place.
I might have to pay a visit in the near future. I've got some time on my hands. If I get some money on my hands,
Yeah, have a trek out to the forest, grab a pizza on the way back or whatever. Yeah, it's good. Good doubt.
wicked. Well, there's the promotion. If you're a member of God's Own Pizza, you're welcome. And also, if you want me to sample one, uh,
Review. You
exactly.
That's what you want.
Look, we can get you back on the podcast, and we could all enjoy a God's own pizza together.
Did you ever watch the one bite pizza reviews on YouTube?
Yeah.
I got like well into them because there's like hundreds of episodes, isn't there? And they're just great to watch.
Oh yeah, they are brilliant. Okay, wary of time, I'm gonna move on to the big fucker question. So without Tom to bounce off of, it's weird just being able to speak until I'm done. Uh, especially with Tom's delay, sometimes I have to plan when to speak so he doesn't accidentally overspeak. But okay, I'm going to ask you to make a band, right? This sounds crazy. Now the rules, they're pretty simple. You can be in the band, but you don't have to be. You can have as many or as few people as you want, but you must have the core fundamentals of a singer, bassist, guitarist, and drummer. You can have anyone on any instrument, but they will not magically learn to play that instrument. You can have anyone dead or alive. They will be alive when they perform unless you specifically request them not to be. And I think that's it. Go wild.
God, it's tricky, isn't it?
Yeah. That's why it's our kicker.
Is the idea of this to have a band that sound good at the end of it?
The idea is that eventually we will use all of these bands for something that we haven't figured out in 2 years.
Okay. Okay. Oh God, I'd go bass player. I would go for Jack Bruce.
Okay.
If you know Jack Bruce, he played in Cream with Eric Clapton in the 60s.
Right, yeah.
He did like famous songs like Sunshine of Your Love and White Room. He's just the reason I play bass, really. He's just awesome on bass guitar.
Oh wow.
So I'd go Jack Bruce on bass. Drums, I would go John Bonham, I think. Got to be John Bonham on drums. Guitar, I would go Hendrix, Jimi Hendrix.
Yes.
And singer, I would go for Steve Marriott, who, if you don't know Steve Marriott, he sung in The Faces, The Small Faces, lots of hits in the 60s with them. And he was also in a band called Humble Pie and was apparently auditioned for the Rolling Stones, but he was too good, so they didn't have him in it. Love Steve Marriott. I think he's got an amazing voice. So that would be my band, I guess.
Wow. A3. Also, I'm going to quickly sidetrack because you mentioned the Small Faces. And the drummer, I believe, of the Small Faces. Sorry, one moment. I should know this off by heart, but yeah, Kenny Jones. I thought so. He's a relative of mine.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, I've never met him personally, but he's my granddad's cousin, I think. There's a link there. So I am actually related to the great Kenny Jones.
Ah, well, I haven't met him as such. I've kind of half met him.
Oh, really?
We played a festival, I want to say Guildfest, I think it was. And he was playing, he was obviously on after us with his band. And we were just in the VIP area and he walked past and just gave him a little nod and he said hello. That was it.
Wow.
Oh, God, that's Kenny Jones. He's amazing. Because he played in, didn't he play in The Who as well and loads of like famous, famous bands.
So I am assuming that my granddad is being truthful here, but it'd be a weird thing to lie about.
Well, yeah, I suppose.
Yeah,
but that's very cool.
Yeah, it's quite a cool little claim. But I can't say I've met him. It would be awesome.
Get him on your podcast.
That's an idea.
Do it. Get it. Organize it. Get Grandad to sort it out, and then boom, your figures will go through the roof once you get Kenny Jones on there.
I might have to pull some strings. But is that your band?
I think so. Yeah.
All right.
That's not a bad band, right? It's a pretty good band.
Yeah, no, that's a really solid band.
If you know, some of them you might not know, but
I vaguely recognise the names.
Cream are amazing. Jack Bruce, So that was, a lot of people said that Cream was the first like super group. So it had like Jack Bruce on bass, Eric Clapton on guitar, and Ginger Baker on drums.
All right.
It's just a three-piece, but it was just amazing. And
Yeah.
what an amazing Cream.
Yeah, amazing. Well, with that done and the exciting bombshell of Kenny Jones being dropped, that brings us to a close of this admittedly very hectic podcast. So unless there's any questions that you have, or this is the time where if there's anything that you want to promote, go ahead.
Just that we've got a new album coming out this year, really. It's awesome. It's going to be really good. So watch this space. I think the first song will be out in a month or so, and then the album shortly after that. So you can pre-order and all that kind of stuff. It's going to be called The Irish Goodbye by The Bad Day. So yeah, look forward to that.
Amazing. And for the record, in the 24 hours I've had between part 1 and part 2, I have been listening, and really good. I'm a big fan.
Thanks, dude. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I've watched all my playlists and everything.
Excellent.
So yeah, The Bad Day, I condone them. Go listen. But I've been Riley. This hasn't been my co-host Tom. But this has been Adam of The Bad Day. Thank you very much for coming. I apologize for the surplus of obstacles we faced on the way, but we made it.
We got there, man. Yeah, we got there. It was good fun.
We
Cheers,
did.
Riley.
Thank you. Well, everyone, please go follow both the podcast and The Bad Day on Instagram, and all other socials linked below. Make sure to keep out for that single and album mentioned, and we'll see you in the next episode.